This is a look at the Project Butterfly soundtrack Wwise project. There are two pieces of music that need to be switched back and forth throughout the game. One of them is menu music, sounds like this. One of them is level music, sounds like this. So to do those switches inside the interactive music hierarchy folder, I have a soundtrack work unit containing a music switch container. It's called game music switch in this case. That music switch container contains music playlist containers. So this music playlist container contains the actual music. This is a series of folders basically. So the playlist in-game is a continuous sequence that has one audio file and it infinitely loops. So we can play this playlist in-game and it would play and play and play and it would never stop looping infinitely. Similarly, the in menu is also a sequence continuous that infinitely loops. So that just sets up for the two pieces of music to loop constantly until they need to switch. The game music switch here. The music switch container controls how and when these two pieces of music transition. So we have a set of states here, set of game states that are associated with this container. One of the states says in game, one says in menu, one says none. So default being none. Nothing's going to play, if anything. If you try to play, let's see, right now, game state's set to none. You try to hit play. Successfully, nothing happens. It's exactly what it's supposed to do. If I change the game state to in game, hit play, we hear some music. This is the in-game music. If I set it to in menu, hit play, the menu music starts. So by using some game states and associating them with a music switch container, you can transition between two different audio clips. And this is pretty good for music. So we can even take a look at the transitions here, where I have any to any is just going to happen. So exit source immediately, play the post exit, fade out. You can edit how long something's going to fade out. In my case, I'm using a 3-second fade out. It'll tell you where to start, if you need to play pre-entry, and if you need to fade in. The second transition I have here is from none, which is the default, to playlist in menu. So at the start of the game, the default is set to none. When the scene loads, I have the state set to in menu, and I'm telling it to transition. And what I want it to do is no fade in. You can play the pre-entry, start at the beginning of the playlist for in menu, but to just play immediately. So if we go from anything else to anything else, there's going to be a 3-second transition, crossfade. And if we go from none to in menu playlist, there's going to be no transition whatsoever. The audio is just going to start playing, which you might be able to see here. So let's say I'm at none, I hit play, nothing happens. If I switch this now to in menu, it immediately starts playing. If I switch from in menu to in game, we have a 3-second crossfade exit and 3-second entry. So it's about 6 seconds, I think, before the volume fully comes in. And if we go to in game to none, you're going to hear that 3-second fade out. And if we go from none to in game, you'll hear a 3-second fade in. So you'll notice that it wasn't immediate. If I start at none, click in game, there's going to be 3 seconds of silence before the audio starts playing. If I go from anything to none, it's going to be a 3-second fade. But now if I go from none to in menu, immediately happens. So that's this transition rule that I've created here. None to in menu, jump to start of the playlist, play the pre-entry, don't fade in. Everything else has an immediate exit. You can play the post exit if that's where you're at. You can fade out for 3 seconds, jump to the start of the playlist of the next item, play the pre-entry, and then fade in for 3 seconds. So that is how Project Butterfly's soundtrack works in Wwise. This is implemented in Unity using some of the Wwise components added to objects and turned into prefabs in Unity. Some of it is coded in C#. And this is how it all sounds once it's together. We'll start at none and hit play. Go to the menu. Once you select what you want to do in the menu, for instance, starting the game, we have a nice crossfade and the music plays. And this will play infinitely until the game state changes. That's it. Thanks.